If you wanted to calculate, you'd use a calculator. And if you wanted to scoot, you'd use a scooter. So, if you want to move people, why would you buy an SUV when you should be buying a people mover like this 2021 Honda Odyssey, which has heaps of interior space, is supremely comfortable, and has more safety tech than you can shake a stick at. But is it any good? Well, in this review, I'll be running you through the pricing and specs, the engine and transmission, the fuel usage, the safety systems, and more to see if this car is right for you. But if you're short on time, we've split this video up into several chapters, so you can jump ahead at any time. And if you're on YouTube, it's even easier because you can just use the timeline down below. Now, if you don't think this car is right for you, we've reviewed hundreds of other models, including its rival, the Kia Carnival. So be sure to hit like, subscribe, and that bell notification icon to stay on top of all our latest content. And while you're down there, why don't you give us a thumbs up and check out the full written review at carsguide.com.au. Let's go! Without a large SUV to call its own, Honda Australia has tried to cater towards that really big family market with the Odyssey People Mover. In 2021, there are two versions available, the VI L7 and the VI LX7, both affording seating for, well, 7. Those that might have owned an Odyssey in the past might be disappointed to hear that the 8-seat version is no longer available, but there's still plenty in there to keep everyone happy and entertained. So what exactly do you need to know?
The VI L7 kicks things off at $44,250 before on-road costs, while the VI LX7 moves a bit upmarket with an asking price of $51,150. As standard, the Odyssey is fitted with a 7-inch driver display, new look leather steering wheel, 17-inch wheels, powered rear passenger doors, second and third row air vents, keyless entry, push-button start, and LED headlights, as well as a raft of advanced safety features I'll cover off in a bit. Sitting front and center in the cabin is a new 8-inch multimedia touchscreen with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto functionality, with the top-spec VI LX7 also adding in built-in satellite navigation. VI LX7 customers also score a powered tailgate, gesture-controlled sliding rear doors, heated front seats, an electric sunroof, and 3-zone climate control with rear control panel.
I will have to point out some notable omissions on the equipment list though. There's no wireless smartphone charger and there's no rain sensing wipers, while the handbrake is foot operated, which is a shame to see in a new car in 2021. Look, I get it. People movers used to have this reputation for being about as daggy as a dad in a disco. But it's 2021, and minivans like this Honda Odyssey, and hopefully dads around the world, have made big strides to up their game. New this year is a revised front grille. There's this new lower bumper treatment, and these sleek headlights that combine to make the Odyssey look quite imposing on the road. Me personally, I really like this mix of chrome and the obsidian blue paintwork. In profile, the 17-inch wheels do look a little bit small compared to the massive doors and huge panels, but at least there's a two-tone finish and they look a little bit interesting. One of the niftiest things though, at least in this VI LX7 grade, is the inclusion of this light strip on the door that enables gesture controls so you can unlock your inner Jedi. Nailed it. At the rear here, the chrome accenting continues, which can be found in this taillight connecting strip and the fog light surrounds down below. But Honda has tried to jazz things up a bit, pun intended, with this roof-mounted rear spoiler.
Inside, the Odyssey looks sharp and stylish without ever getting too over the top or visually offensive. The new 7-inch customizable driver display is neat, while the multimedia screen and center stack are functional, if somewhat a little bit visually dull. And the rest of the interior is as expected of what is essentially a big rectangle on wheels with heaps of seats.
Overall, the Honda Odyssey can be considered somewhat conservative in its styling, especially next to something like the new Kia Carnival. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. And at least to my eye, I think it looks pretty good. Undeniably, the Honda Odyssey's best asset is its nearly unparalleled levels of practicality in space. Just take a look back there. In the second row, you'll see 2 captain's chairs, and behind them, there's a 3-row bench seat. Plus, behind that, there's still room to throw your groceries, backpacks, and other things. But it's not just the passengers that Honda has thought of, because they've added this new multi-function steering wheel with controls that fall right in hand. And combining its telescoping function with electronic seat adjustment, drivers can get into the perfect position. Storage options include generous door bins, this dual chamber glove box, and this center storage console with fold-out cup holders and this tray for your smartphone and wallet. But the best bit though, is that it folds away. So if you've parked a bit too close to your right, you can just exit through the passenger door. With 2 captain's chairs in the second row, passengers are treated to soft, supple and plush pews that should make long journeys in the Honda Odyssey an absolute breeze. What you get back here? Well, there's adjustment to move the seat forward and backwards, as well as left and right, and an awesome recline function, as well as individual fold-down armrests and 2 cup holders here and here. Sadly, there's not much else back here. The seats aren't heated, there's no USB charging ports, and there's no trays to fold down. But at least there's plenty of legroom. Things start to get a bit squishy in the third row. And as you can see, my 6-foot-tall frame just about fits. But kids shouldn't have any problem burying their heads in a tablet or reading a book back here on a long road trip. You also get some storage options here and here, as well as 1 charging socket.
Opening the boot reveals a cavity that will accommodate 322 litres, but the floor is noticeably recessed, making loading and unloading of bulky items a bit annoying. With the rearmost seats folded though, the boot floor does become flat, and available space swells to 1,725 litres. Forming a large part of the Odyssey's 2021 update is the increase to standard safety features in the form of Honda's Sensing Suite. This includes forward collision warning, autonomous emergency braking, lane departure warning, lane keep assist, and adaptive cruise control. Also standard is blind spot monitoring, hill start assist, a reversing camera, and rear cross traffic alert, making for an impressive list of standard safety features. The 2021 Honda Odyssey also wears a maximum 5-star ANCAP safety rating from its test in 2014, as the current model is a heavy facelift of the 5th generation People Mover.
Under the bonnet of the 2021 Honda Odyssey, you'll find a 2.4-litre petrol engine, which drives the front wheels via a continuously variable automatic transmission, or CVT.
The 2.4-litre engine outputs a maximum of 129 kilowatts at 6,200 RPM, while peak torque of 225 Nm is available from 4,000 RPM. Compared with some of its newer rivals, such as the Kia Carnival, outputs are noticeably down in the Odyssey, which makes do without a turbocharger. But the petrol engine here offers just about enough grunt to get things moving from a standstill adequately.
Official fuel consumption figures for the 2021 Honda Odyssey, regardless of grade, is 8 litres per 100 kilometres, which is much more frugal than the Kia Carnival, with its petrol 3.5 litre V6 sipping 9.6 litres per 100 kilometres.
In my week with the Odyssey, I managed an average of 9.4 litres per 100 kilometres with a mix of inner city and freeway driving. Like all new Hondas sold in Australia in 2021, the Odyssey comes with a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty, as well as 6 years of rust protection assurance. Scheduled service intervals are every 6 months or 10,000 kilometres, whichever occurs first, but this is much sooner than the industry standard of 12 months or 15,000 kilometres. As a result, the first 5 years of ownership will cost buyers around $3,351 in maintenance costs according to Honda's tailored service price guide. With an average cost of around $670 per year to service the Odyssey, it does cost a little bit more to keep on the road than some competitors.
If you're expecting the Honda Odyssey to handle a bit like a bus behind the steering wheel, because, well, it looks like a bus from the outside, you might be pleasantly surprised. I actually really like that it doesn't drive like an SUV. It feels much more like a large car, with the steering feeling connected and predictable. Visibility is excellent all round thanks to these large windows, and the ride is also really comfortable. The one letdown though is probably this engine and the CVT, which feels a little bit elasticy when you put your foot down and really need to boogie. Now this is the life. These seats are great at soaking up little road bumps and imperfections, making this the best seat in the house. And with so much adjustability, you can just get into the right position to relax while someone else gets you to your destination. Now, the big appeal of something like the Odyssey over a smaller SUV is its usable third row. And back here, things are just fine. The soft and supple ride in the first two rows translates to something a little bit more bumpy back here, probably because you sat right above the rear axle. And this, combined with the thick and vision obscuring C and D pillars, mean that motion sickness can come on a little bit too quickly, at least for me. So maybe these seats are only better used occasionally or by people with stronger stomachs than me. If you're planning an epic journey, the 2021 Honda Odyssey is more than up to task. It's more practical than most SUVs, it handles better, and it looks pretty good to boot. Sure, the engine is a little bit dull and the third row seats are iffy for me, but if you're planning on moving people, you might want to consider this people mover. For the full breakdown on how we got to this score, you should check out the carsguide.com.au website, where we've published our full written review. And if you don't think this model is right for you, well, we've assessed hundreds of other models for you to check out.